This question came in from Will Cooper, and we want to thank him, and we want to remind everyone that you can send questions like this to AskProfWolff on our website, rdwolff.com. Will Cooper says that while he understood in an earlier piece that I did that unions can be supporters of and work together with worker co-ops, he doesn't see that very often, and in fact he provides some examples where unions have been downright hostile or disinterested in anything to do with worker co-ops. So let me first acknowledge that Will Cooper's quite right. There are unions that are interested in working with worker co-ops, and there are unions that have no interest in doing that. And I wish there were more unions that were pro-worker co-op, but there are some. So let's talk about them and what that's about. The best example here in the United States is a cooperation agreement between the United Steelworkers of America, a large major union in this country, and the Mondragon Cooperative Corporation in Spain. Mondragon Cooperative Corporation is the biggest and most successful worker co-op in the world. It currently has over 100,000 employees. It is the 7th largest corporation in all of Spain, and it is a family of about 250 worker co-ops. It's remarkable. Started in 1956, extraordinarily successful. It has an arrangement with the Steelworkers Union together to start, to help, to support worker co-ops here in the United States. And they have several experiments with actual workers in actual enterprises going on in Pennsylvania and elsewhere here in the United States. So there's an example of a union that is providing all kinds of support. And you know, historically, if you go back in time, the 19th century and many parts of the 20th century, in many parts of the world, unions and co-ops thought of themselves as natural allies. And here's the reason why. What a union does is fight for better conditions for its workers, better wages, better pensions, better health benefits. But it's always fighting an employer who has the exact opposite incentive, not to spend money on wages, working conditions, pensions, benefits. So whatever you win as a union, you're always at risk of losing it because the employer wants to and will find ways usually to take it away. So the logical point of a union comes with a worker co-op, because then you wouldn't always be fighting against an opponent who has every interest in undoing whatever it is you win, because you would be the employer yourself. The workers and the employer become the same people in a worker co-op. So it's in a way the logical end. The way you can be sure that what you've gotten as a good deal as a worker won't be taken away by your employer is if you're the employer yourself, because that becomes absurd. So I think there's a perfectly good way that unions could once again, in general, make alliances with, mutually support worker co-ops for the reason that in the end, they're going after the same thing, one within the confines of the employer-employee relationship, and the other one saying that relationship itself is the problem. We're going to change it for something that makes us more secure and safe in what we've won as wages, working conditions, and so on.